Good afternoon. My name is John Blair. I work for CBIA. Associate Counsel covering technology policy. Today we're on our podcast. We have David Gottlieb, who is owner and president of Goosetown Communications, a digital network operator. We're proud to have him here today. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. I'm going to kind of ask you a few questions about your operation and the background of how you created this entity and overall just basically your general purpose as a business and maybe touch on a number of employees and your presence here in Bloomfield.
So overall, our company has 70 employees in 2 locations, 14 of which are in our Bloomfield office in Connecticut. Connecticut has been just an absolute great place to do business. We opened up shop there in 2013, and the growth has been nonstop. It's been one of the greatest locations we've opened up in recent times.
And can you describe to us why Connecticut versus maybe any other state that this seems to be a good platform for your company to work off of?
So our start in Connecticut came with one of our biggest customers, Mohegan Sun, who's been an absolute pleasure to work with. We rented them a radio system in 2013 and proceeded to start to look for space. And we were able to find some really great employees to start us off and been growing ever since. We started out in East Hartford, outgrew that spot, and we now have a location, 15,000 square feet of space in Bloomfield, Connecticut. And Bloomfield Blue Hills Fire happens to be another big customer, a great customer. And it just made sense when the opportunity arose. We jumped on it. And surprisingly, we moved into the building, I think, in January of 2020. And February, we basically had to remote everybody. But it's been great.
Probably easier for you guys to go remote than a lot of other companies, considering you know how to do some remote activities.
So our business, we're an essential service. We service police, fire, and ambulance. That's the majority of our customers. We also do school districts, highway departments. So we never closed. We just had to adapt and overcome. And being a wireless communications company and a technology company, yes, it was quote unquote easy from the technology standpoint. From the psychological standpoint, it was a heavy lift, and we couldn't have done it without our world-class employees. Everybody came together and did what it took to keep our customers moving. We like to say we're 911 for 911, and if the police call and say their radios work, they don't care if there's a pandemic. They don't care if there's a storm. We have to go. We have to respond, and we've been able to do that.
Well, along those lines, I was reading through your website a little bit. There's a whole section on integrated solutions, and it looks like you've grown from just representing, having Mohegan Sun as a client to a much more expansive national platform in which you provide service to EMS, to healthcare providers, to also police officers, and a number of other folks. Would you want to speak that a little bit in the 24/7 connectivity, if you could talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So I like to always say everybody needs a radio. So communications has become vital. Everything has changed, but as much as things change, they always stay the same. And having a solid backbone, a solid network, that's your starting point. So our integrated solutions, in the old days, we used to put a radio in a truck, and that was it. Well, now we're an AT&T and T-Mobile dealer. Not only can we put a two-way radio in your truck, we can put telematics devices, GPS, mobile computing, and those things move from vertical to vertical. So whether or not we're putting a modem and a laptop in a police cruiser, or we're putting it in a cement truck, or we're putting it in an ambulance, that technology is the same. And I think what sets us apart is our ability to look at the entire operation. We like to embed ourselves with our customers, and the integration comes when we have a modem in a truck. Now we can do connectivity, we can do telematics, we can do video, we can also turn your laptop, or your portable into a two-way radio. In 2018, we bought a company called Team Connect. And anyone who drives by our office in Bloomfield will see it says Goosetown and Team Connect. And Team Connect was the logical step for us to continue the integration. It's a push-to-talk over cellular software, which allows us to further integrate two-way radio into our customers' missions. And we like to make sure we understand the customer's mission. What are you trying to do? What are the needs? What needs to be solved? And with that, we can take the best of all the vendors we deal with and design a custom solution tailored to meet your needs.
Got it. Well, speaking of that, it sounds like you have a couple different offerings with regards to the services that you were just talking about. You have a Platinum Plus managed services program, which appears to be the all-inclusive best of offerings that you have. One, what type of like entities need that level of commitment? And do you scale down from that, or is that something as a package you offer, I guess?
So it's a highly scalable, highly flexible offering. I think the true test of Platinum Plus came at the height of the pandemic. We lease a lot of radios to school bus operators, both private and municipal. And when this hit, especially here in New York, everybody kind of shut down almost overnight. And what we were able to do is offer the customers the flexibility. So somebody that was renting a radio system from us, we were able to suspend service. We like to say, we're all in this together, and if you're not getting paid, we're not getting paid. So we worked with everybody, but Platinum Plus was a product of our startup. When we first became a Motorola dealer, we noticed municipalities would go out and bond all this money and get a radio. Well, bonding a radio system is kind of like winning the lottery. So you get this chunk of money, you get all this great new technology, and if you won the lottery and went out and bought a brand new boat and didn't think about what else does that boat need? It's going to need fuel. It's going to need a refresh. It's going to need a bottom page. It's going to need to get stored. Well, the same thing happens with a radio. So people would go buy radios, get a flashy radio system, and 2 years later, I can't afford batteries. What happens if technology changes? What happens if I don't need it? What happens if it's not right? And what Platinum Plus is, we'll rent that radio system to you. We encompass all aspects of the service: removals, installation, drop it, kick it, break it, run it over, whatever happens except for loss or theft, we cover that. And it gives our customers a way of conserving capital, whether or not they're municipal or commercial industrial. It gets them on what we call a technology roadmap. So you have radio A today, and you might want to have radio Y tomorrow. You can grow into that. It's flexible. If it doesn't work, we'll take the equipment back. You're not out of money. We'll cancel the contract early. We want customers that are going to be happy, and we want customers that can grow with us. And I got to say, in Connecticut, we definitely found that.
Well, it's great to hear about Connecticut. Being CBIA, we like to hear good economic development stories. So this is a positive and a win, which is wonderful. I wanted to ask you, there was one thing that I thought was very interesting. I mean, beyond the products you supply and the ancillary services that you supply for the transmitters and the keeping up the communication, one of the things I thought was very interesting was there was a discussion about the towers and the communication towers we all see all around whenever we travel or you're flying somewhere, you see these, but you actually train folks, appears through Goosetown, to work on those towers. And I thought it was kind of neat because that's kind of a little bit even further away from just supplying somebody with a radio and making sure that connects back to the headquarters. This is actually out there in the field creating jobs or helping young folks learn how to do these jobs, which might be a neat job, climbing that type of a tower for some folks.
So tower people are in high demand right now. And our impetus for this is first and foremost, it's safety. We are a safety-driven culture here. It's all about safety. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, if a public safety customer has a microwave problem or we have a problem in our network, we wanted to be able to rely on ourselves to be vertically integrated for our own needs and our customers' needs. So we started climbing towers back in the early 90s. And I used to climb towers with a lineman belt, and if you weren't strapped in, you just climbed it and, man up and do it. And that might have worked then, but it definitely doesn't work now. Yeah. So from our safety culture, we wound up getting what we call train the trainers, and hosting our own training events for our own people and our customers. We had a ski area ski people have to climb those poles. It's the same as climbing a tower. And it's great. We work with the people we work with, and our customers and our employees were training together. They were side by side. And it's nice to know that we're helping get another skill set out there. And we'd love to work with more people. Anybody in Connecticut that wants to learn how to climb towers, feel free to give us a call. It's not a service we provide all the time, but if we have enough interest, absolutely. And it's good to see that we're helping our community. That's what our business is about. We're there for the community when it needs it most.
Yeah, it sounds like a neat job funnel into something that would be very different than most folks go look for in a career job, but it sounds like it would be exciting. I'll stay on the ground myself, though.
If you're an adrenaline junkie, it's awesome.
I am, but I don't know if I want to be that high up.
If you're above 6 feet, it doesn't matter.
That's true. It's over. It's over. So I would like to transition a little more internally to, you said you had 70 employees. It sounds like you're going to continue to grow. It sounds like it's an organization that's has a really well-rounded foundation to grow nationally. And, we were looking a little bit about your core values, and the core values, if you don't mind me reading them off, were doing the right thing, exhibit relentless dedication, never be satisfied, be an independent problem solver, and take extreme ownership. And we recently did the same type of evaluation inside here. What were our most core values? And I was wondering if you'd like to speak to some of those core values, and whether or not as an organization you meet regularly to kind of touch in on these. Are there any employee gatherings in which you kind of emphasize those things? So it sounds like you're all over the place with regards to employees not necessarily being in a central office. So I was wondering how you get those core values out across your platform with regards to not necessarily having everybody around.
So that is what we use as our hiring guideline. We're always hiring. So anybody in Connecticut that's looking for a job in sales, management, learn how to be an installer, learn how to be a technician, we're always hiring people. Our goal is to find people that align with our core values, and then we can train you. If you hit the core values, then we know you're going to be the right fit. If you exhibit relentless dedication, take extreme ownership, you do the right thing, we have a seat for you. And that's how we grew the company. And those core values weren't, dictates from my brother and I. My brother actually founded the company. He's actually president. I didn't want to correct you. Sorry. Yeah, but he's bigger than me, so he could beat me up.
My brother's bigger than me too.
Yeah. So our core values came from us meeting with our key employees, coming down and figuring out what is it that's going to help guide us. Nobody here is ever paid on profit. Our salespeople are not paid on profit. We like to say profit is the result of us doing our job right. And if you lose money on a job, but you do the right thing for the customer, that's what matters more than anything else. If we're all rowing in the same direction, we're all doing the same thing, the results will always speak for themselves. And the number one core value is doing the right thing. And if our employees lead with that, it helps make management much easier, right? It's a very simple litmus test. The decision you're making, were you trying to do the right thing? Does it take extreme ownership? Are you dedicated? All those kind of things go into that decision process. And I like to tell every employee, you might make the wrong decision, but if you made the wrong decision for all the right reasons and you can back it up with our core values, you didn't make a mistake. We'll learn from that. We'll try not to do that again.
No, that's great. That's great. Is there anything else that you'd like to add or share about the company? So your brother and you obviously work. It's a family-oriented business. It sounds like you're out of New York. How many states?
You can see that's Empire Hook and Ladder in the back. And that's where the name Goosetown comes from. It's the nickname for the village of Upper Nyack. So in 1990, my brother started the company because we needed people to work on. He was an EMT in New City Ambulance, and I was a fireman in Upper Nyack, New York. And nobody would fix our pagers. So my brother is just one of those genius type people. He can look at it and figure it out. Unlike me, I can look at it and break it. He can look at it and fix it.
Yeah.
And he started a business, and we called it Goosetown because everybody knows Empire Hook and Ladder is Goosetown. It says Goosetown against the world on the front of the fire truck. And we figured we'll start a business. And I was in college at the time, and I wrote business plans about making a business that would have maybe 3 or 4 employees, and it would be a lifestyle, and we would work on the police and fire ambulance radios in Rockland County. I joined in 1994. We became a Motorola dealer in, I think, 95. That kind of started us on this growth trajectory. And once we sold every fire department in Rockland County new radios, we kind of scratching our head, hey, what's next? And that relentless dedication, right? Where we always want to challenge ourselves, we always want to grow. That led us down all these different paths. And I remember having a meeting with my brother and saying, should we really be bidding on Mohegan Sun? It's, you know, it's one of these big things. And it's, again, aligning yourself and saying, is it the right thing? Are we the right fit? And we checked every box. And thank God we did that, because I couldn't be more happy with expanding into, I'm a New Yorker, tried and true.
Yep.
Full disclosure.
Okay, we love you.
But I got to tell you that Connecticut is an awesome state, and I've even considered moving there because I love it. I love visiting there. I love the people. It's great, and we couldn't have been more welcomed with open arms when we moved to Bloomfield. It's just been great for our business. It's a lot easier in Connecticut than it is in New York, and I can't thank Bloomfield and all of our customers in Connecticut. I couldn't thank you guys enough for what you've done for us, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our employees and the people in Connecticut.
Yeah, we couldn't be happier to have you in the state. So that's wonderful that you expanded to here. We appreciate that. Thank you for being with us today. For more business related news in Connecticut, please subscribe to CBIA's BizCast. We will continue to provide highlights of our members and member guests. So thank you and have a great day.